Number 15. Skinwalker in the Forest. A bike ride in the forest ends in a flight for one's life. TikToker Mott Owens shares the footage of his joyride turned horror show. After finding some unsettling evidence on his journey through the forest, he spots something that puts him on edge.
Oh, there's two ways. Holy dude, this trail going on forever. It just got really quiet really fast.
And there's reason for that. Many in the comments are speculating that what he saw in the distance was a skinwalker. These shapeshifters can transform into animals or even other humans. Their glowing eyes are seen as a sign of their dark magic or connection to the spirit world. A more scientific interpretation suggests that reports of glowing eyes might stem from the reflection of light in the eyes of certain animals at night, often mistaken for something more sinister. But within the context of skinwalker lore, glowing eyes are often viewed as a warning of their presence and a signal of the danger they pose. Many are saying the sudden silence was the most unsettling part of the ordeal. And that sudden silence in nature is usually a warning sign.
It just got really quiet really fast.
Others say they panicked when he repeatedly failed to kickstart his bike. Still others think this is not a skinwalker, but rather a wendigo or a rake. Whether animal or cryptid, it seems like he got out of here in the nick of time.
Oh, there's even more bones than last time.
Or he may have ended up in the same boat. Number 14. Hand on shoulder. While on his way to the beach, TikToker Cuz Lathif had no idea he was not alone. See if you can spot it.
Berat guys, dugem di pantai guys.
While the TikToker seems to be showing off his speaker, those in the comments are noticing something else entirely, and it's beyond creepy. Keep an eye on the TikToker's shoulder. TikToker Icha080513 in the comments spots it. They write, "Whose hand is behind your back?" It can't be his own, as he's obviously holding the camera. And regardless, he'd have to be impossibly flexible to grab his own shoulder with the same arm. As he moves, you can see no one. So unless this is an incredible optical illusion, it's difficult to say who or what is there. While this may have been filmed in such a way as to keep another out of frame, perhaps there's a paranormal explanation. Is this the Thing, otherwise known as the hand servant from the Addams Family? We may never know.
Berat guys.
Number 13. Yeti. An old video from 1992 captures perhaps one of the earliest Yeti sightings on camera. Shared by TikToker Tav. Take a look at the eerie footage.
Currently, the sun is thick, and I see some big over there in the tree. You can see his eyes.
and then it roars. The clip labels this creature as a Yeti, which might call into question what the difference is between that and a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch. Although all three terms refer to cryptids, the difference largely boils down to their locations. While Bigfoot and Sasquatch refer to the same type of creature in North America, the Yeti is its counterpart in the Himalayan region, with distinct differences in appearance and habitat. Also known as the Abominable Snowman, the Yeti is reputed to dwell in the snowy regions of the Himalayas. Unlike Bigfoot, the Yeti is often described as a creature adapted to cold environments, with white or gray fur that allows it to blend into the landscape. The Yeti is a prominent figure in Himalayan folklore and is sometimes thought to be a type of bear or ape-like being. The creature is frequently linked to mysterious tracks found in the snow. It would be interesting to know if this video really was shot in the Himalayan region, or if the TikToker is just using the terms interchangeably. Whether it's a Bigfoot or a Yeti, I wouldn't want to run into this.
Apparently the sun is big, and I see some big over there in the tree. You can see his eye.
In the forest. Number 12. Unidentified flying object. It's hard to pinpoint what this unidentified flying object is in the sky over Bogota, Colombia. Instagrammer Unanswered Universe shared footage of the mind-bending aircraft, and it has followers on edge. While some are saying this is Starlink, the satellite internet constellation operated by SpaceX, it doesn't really resemble the images captured of Starlink. Still others are saying it's a swarm of drones. Some have even seen something similar in their home countries. Redditor KnitandHoney23 writes, "In India, people also saw this. It's different in the morning. It's covered in a cloud, and at night it emits blue light." Others claim to have seen it in California and Turkey as well. Of course, some think it must be extraterrestrial. It's hard to say. It could be Starlink, drones, or something out of this world. Number 11. Ball lightning. This video will have you hiding under your bed during the next thunderstorm. Redditor DazBoy11 shares footage of a ball of lightning, or ball lightning, that seems to have a mind of its own. Ball lightning is a rare atmospheric phenomenon featuring a glowing, spherical object that can vary in size from a few centimeters to several meters in diameter. Unlike regular lightning, which occurs as a sudden and brief discharge of electricity, ball lightning can last for several seconds or even minutes, making it especially puzzling. Despite being observed for centuries, the phenomenon remains poorly understood, and there's no consensus as to its cause. Although one theory suggests that ball lightning is a form of plasma, a hot, ionized gas created under specific conditions during a lightning strike. The plasma may be trapped in a magnetic or electric field, giving it a spherical shape and allowing it to persist for longer than a typical lightning bolt. Due to its rarity and unpredictability, most observations of ball lightning are anecdotal, and a comprehensive understanding of ball lightning remains a mystery. But the question remains, is this ball lightning, or something even more bizarre? The truth is, we'll never know. Number 10. The head. You never know what's going on in your neighbor's yard. TikToker Gina17177 shares this terrifying footage of a figure hanging out on the other side of the fence.
Quer manjar uma dele?
Every night, I just come stand up. And all you say, hey. All you say, woman. Hey.
The figure is still and silent. Some think it's a doll, but TikToker Freya has a darker theory. She writes, "Bro, that is a corpse, and its stillness lends itself to that theory." He continues to try and alert the woman, but she is stiff as a board.
Hey. Every night this one comes up right, this one don't want to move. Woman. Move. Every flipping night.
You can briefly see the profile of her face, and this profile has more TikTokers leaning toward Team Doll.
Move. Every flipping night. Move. Every night someone comes up and don't want to move.
But really, everyone's just waiting for the jump scare.
Like she's sick in her head. Me not touch her now. Hey, move.
Thankfully, it never comes. Although we may never know what this figure truly is, we can all agree with S2K Dreams, who writes, "This video has accomplished more horror in 1 minute than 90% of horror movies made in the last decade." Number 9. Toy Ghost. YouTuber Marvin Cogwa says strange stuff is always happening in his house. Here's yet another oddity to add to the pile. After his niece's toy turns on by itself, he shuts it down. And then, as he's searching the area, this happens.
What the f? Oh,
Did you hear the loud thump? And notice the lights are swaying.
what the f? Oh,
Many in the comments are saying this gave them goosebumps. Others have dealt with similar activity in their homes. Toys turning on at 3 in the morning, the witching hour. But still others think this could be staged, and for a purpose. YouTuber ResRever writes, "Sorry, but the internet has made me believe this is viral marketing for a new Paranormal Activity film. Film marketing or not, this."
funny anymore, man.
Is bound to keep viewers up at night. Number 8. Haunted House. After moving from his last home because he thought it was haunted, TikToker Alexander the Titan may not have been dealing with a haunted house after all. Watch this security footage captured at 3 in the morning.
I'm Justin McCurry.
A water bottle on the floor appears to move on its own, as does the decoration hanging to the right of the door.
I'm Justin McCurry.
Although this can probably be explained by what sounds like a door opening or closing, causing an air current through the room, the OP's behavior is alarming.
I'm Justin McCurry.
He said he awoke the next morning to find the door wide open. Some believe the OP is sleepwalking, saying they've experienced it themselves. Others think he could have an attachment. Sleepwalking involves performing other complex behaviors while in a state of sleep, typically occurring during the deep stages of non-REM sleep. The sleep disorder can range from simple activities, such as sitting up in bed or walking around the room, to more elaborate actions, like engaging in everyday tasks, or like our friend OP here, leaving the house. How does this happen? During deep sleep, the brain is in a state of reduced consciousness. Sleepwalking occurs when the parts of the brain responsible for motor control and behavior remain active, while the areas regulating consciousness and awareness are still asleep. This results in the individual performing actions without full awareness or memory of them, which can pose risks, such as accidental injury or walking into dangerous situations. This does seem like it escalated quickly. TikToker RachelLink3 writes, "I think it's you who is haunted, not the house." Couldn't agree more. Number 7. Soda Can Ghost. This thirsty ghost is stealing your cola in the night. Redditor Don McManey shares a video posted by a Thai Facebook user of what may be poltergeist activity in their home. Watch closely. A couple is sleeping. It's 1 in the morning, and somehow this happens. Although the can's movement looks supernatural, many in the comments are suggesting science-based explanations. Redditor Chris Emilio writes, "I've had that happen with some drinks. This happens particularly easy on glass tables, as the condensation of water below the can makes it slide." Although condensation is Science 101, let's have a refresher course. Condensation occurs when a cold soda cools the air around the can. As the air cools, moisture in the air condenses on the can's surface, forming droplets of water. These droplets can accumulate at the base of the can, creating a thin layer of water between the can and the surface it's resting on. This layer of water reduces friction between the can and the surface, allowing the can to slide more easily. In some cases, if the surface is slightly tilted, or if there's even a small vibration, the can might start moving on its own due to reduced friction and the effect of gravity. Slight temperature differences or air currents in the room can also contribute to the can's movement. The OP says that the woman claimed her soda was only slightly cooler than room temperature, suggesting that condensation was not a factor. But unless there's an over-caffeinated ghost on the prowl, this is probably just science. Number 6. Wheatfield Fife and Drums. Gettysburg ghosts never disappoint. At sunset in Gettysburg Wheatfield, the eerie sound of fife and drums was heard by YouTuber MB1554. Have a listen. According to the OP, aside from the occasional passing car, the area was deserted. This video carries on for more than 10 minutes. Eventually, they investigate the intermittent music. But no matter how far they walk, the source is always steps ahead, out of reach. The OP provides more context about their visit in the comments. They write that they were visiting the battlefield one evening with their daughter when they decided to try out their daughter's video camera for the first time. Together, they began recording while searching for the source of the mysterious music. Despite their efforts, they found no one, leaving them to wonder if the echoes of loss still linger here on those historic battlegrounds. Those in the comments seem to confirm this, saying that they've also heard sounds in Wheatfield. One YouTuber, TopJimmy72, claims that on separate visits, he's heard footsteps like heavy boots trampling next to him, and on another occasion, cannon fire and musketry. Many in the comments suggest that this is a residual haunting. What's that, you ask? A residual haunting is when events from the past seem to replay themselves, almost like a recording. These hauntings don't involve intelligent spirits interacting with the living, but are more like echoes of a previous time. In historic places, particularly in places where intense emotional or traumatic events occurred, people often report seeing or hearing the same events repeatedly in the form of footsteps, voices, apparitions, and music. The tragic events are thought to be imprinted on the environment and play back under certain conditions, without any intended interaction with those who witness them. This would make sense for Wheatfield in particular. Wheatfield witnessed some of the most intense and deadly fighting during the 3-day Battle of Gettysburg. On July 2, 1863, approximately 6,000 soldiers were killed, wounded, or went missing in the wild struggle for control over this small piece of farmland. The Wheatfield changed hands multiple times as Union and Confederate forces clashed in fierce combat, making it one of the most hallowed grounds of the battlefield. This sound seems to have imprinted on the land here, a fitting remembrance to all who were lost in the terrible war. Number 5. Mall Ghost. Did Redditor Pretend Quote 7580 just capture a mall ghost on a joyride? Or is this Toy Story IRL? See for yourself. The toy drives around for the better part of a minute. Redditor Astral40 suggests it's the ghost of Dale Earnhardt. Others say it's probably just a low battery, as they've seen their kids' toys behave similarly in such circumstances. Is this thing just malfunctioning? Stormy BotBot says they took screenshots in the comments and edited the photo's warmth and saturation, and was able to make out a small figure pushing the toy from behind, like a child. Although they didn't share these images, they claim you can see a blurry fluctuating cloud patch behind the toy in the posted video if you watch closely. See if you can spot it. Although this has some screaming fake, others are more readily believers. Redditor Roland Mad Dog Deshane writes, "Hey, even ghosts deserve a little fun." And Responsible Agent 19 chimes in, "That's the spirit." Beyond wordplay, maybe this is true. Maybe spirits really just want to have fun. In that case, there's nothing to fear here. Number 4. Cemetery Figure. While flying a drone over a cemetery, this person captured a live viewing of Tales from the Crypt. Shared by TikToker Damn That's Creepy. What would you do if you came across this? The scary figure appears to rise from the ground before drifting off and dissipating into the darkness. Cemeteries might seem obvious places for ghosts to linger, but when you think about it, it's not so obvious, as there isn't any probable attachment to a cemetery. One might wonder, why here? Why now? Although cemeteries are places of rest for the dead, some theories suggest that a spirit could remain there due to a connection to their burial site, a sense of being bound to the location where their body was laid to rest. Cultural beliefs often portray cemeteries as places where the boundary between the living and the dead is thin, making it more likely for spirits to stick around. Still, many in the comments think this isn't a ghost at all, but rather a person, and the camera quality is causing this strange blur effect, making it appear as though it's floating or drifting away, when it's actually just fleeing from a midnight picnic. Some are also suspicious that the drone didn't follow the figure and instead ran away. But others insist this is a real ghost, and they've seen one just like it. What do you think? Real or not? Number 3. Screams in the Darkness. Recorded in Tikal, Guatemala, and shared by Redditor Wazzies, the park keeper who recorded this clip said in his years there, he's never heard anything like this. Listen closely. Many in the comments say this could simply be someone calling. If you've never heard of calling before, you're not alone. Calling is an ancient herding call traditionally used by women to communicate with livestock. The vocal technique produces a high-pitched, melodic sound that can carry over long distances, allowing one to call animals from afar or through dense forests. To achieve the necessary volume and pitch, calling requires using the head voice, a part of the vocal range that is lighter and higher, with strong, controlled breath support. The unique sound is haunting, its resonant quality both powerful and beautiful. While this does sound a bit like calling, the practice has deep cultural roots in the mountainous regions of Sweden and Norway, not only for practical purposes, but also as a form of personal expression in the isolated rural areas. This footage was captured in Guatemala, so it might be reaching to say this is calling, but it is possible that the region has a similar practice. Another commenter theorizes that it's a residual haunting from the ancient Mayans who once lived here. Redditor Original-10 writes, Guatemalan here. Tikal is where the ancient Mayan pyramids and ruins are. It's possible that it could be a singing of ancient Mayans that is still heard in the area to this day. They add that it doesn't sound animal, especially when it comes to the vocalizing in the end. The Mayans were known for their sacrificial rituals. Is this the lingering reverberations from just such an event? Others suggest it may not be a ghost Maya, but rather modern-day Maya keeping up with the tradition. And many also suggest it is indeed an animal, perhaps a howler monkey. But the strangest part of this is that the park keeper claims to have never heard the sound in the years he's worked there. This seems to indicate it is not animal. It's something else entirely. Number 2. Fireball. Fire can be unpredictable on the ground. Imagine if it could take flight. TikToker Jessica Marquez 785 shares this incredible and alarming footage of fire in flight.
Olha aí, olha! Olha, minha gente, pelo amor de Deus, olha! Olha aí, ó! Olha aí, tá vendo aí, Dry?
While some are saying it's ball lightning yet again, TikToker Vitor Mello suggests this is a fire runner, people. Ball lightning is spherical and blue, and literally releases some rays. Ball lightning does usually tend to emit a blue ring, while that doesn't appear to be the case with this fireball. Yet research on a fire runner turned up nothing. But this might be due to the term being lost in translation. Some argue that ball lightning can be any color, and this is definitely another case of the rare phenomenon. And still others say it's St. Elmo's fire, which is a weather phenomenon different from ball lightning, where a bright blue or violet glow appears around the tips of pointed objects, such as ship masts, aircraft wings, or church steeples during thunderstorms. It's generally considered harmless. It occurs when the atmosphere becomes highly charged, causing ionization of the air molecules around these objects. But the problem with this theory is that there's no pointed object here for such a light to gather around.
Olha aí, olha! Olha, minha gente, pelo amor de Deus, olha! Olha aí, ó! Olha aí, tá vendo aí, Dry?
Still others think it's witchcraft, or more specifically, pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis is the purported ability to create or control fire with the mind. Think Carrie in the Stephen King novel of the same name. In witchcraft, pyrokinesis is a powerful skill that allows a practitioner to summon flames, control the intensity of fire, or extinguish it at will. This ability is sometimes associated with elemental magic, where the practitioner connects with the element of fire to harness and manipulate its energy. The dramatic and often dangerous ability is wielded by sorcerers or psychics as well, often requiring intense concentration and sometimes posing a risk to the user due to the uncontrollable nature of fire. Is this a possibility? Is the sorcerer just out of view? Or is this ball lightning, St. Elmo's fire, or something else yet unknown?
Olha aí, olha! Olha, minha gente, pelo amor de Deus, olha! Olha aí, ó!
Dare to get closer to find out? Number 1. Phantom Photobomb. Did a phantom photobomb Reddit according Pangolin 84? This image was captured at a purportedly haunted mansion in Utah. The OP says many high schoolers would break into this paranormal hotspot, and the OP and their friends were no exception. The Redditor took the photo from their vehicle, while their friends posed in the window. Little did they know, a phantom would wedge its way into frame. Redditor Environmental Eye 970 writes, "Ghost probably thought it was a group photo." But many think it's fake or photoshopped, with some wondering why the OP shared a photo of the photo on a computer screen instead of the original. They think this makes it suspect. To quiet the naysayers, the OP contacted a friend who sent the original file. Here's their repost. Many say this is terrifying, and they are mind blown. Redditor Lead Guitar 2023 turned up the brightness in the photo, which somehow made the figure creepier. Pixel Picker 97 shares their own enhancement and suggests, "I think it's not a spirit of that place, more like a propagation of an entity that resides inside your friend in the back." Others agree that the friend does look unsettling in the photo as well, and they wonder if there's something darker going on here, like an attachment. Attachments occur when a spirit or entity forms a bond with a person, place, or object. The spirit may feel drawn to a particular person because of shared experiences, energy, or even vulnerabilities, leading them to attach themselves to that individual. In some cases, the attachment might stem from the entity's desire to communicate, influence, or simply remain close to the living world, unable or unwilling to move on. Could this individual be affected by a spiritual attachment of some kind? The OP also shares in the comments that their friends heard something walking in the house prior to the photo being taken, and now we know that this thing was walking up behind them. Yet another scary figure caught on camera.